in a place called G-Live in Guildford, and I got a call to tell me that my little brother was in a coma. No, please, not a thing, not where you want your little brother to be. But as I say, I'm in Guildford, so, you know. At least I know he's comfortable. So then what follows about a week of sitting in cafes next to the hospitals, the news gets worse and worse, and people are texting, people letting me know how, that they, wishing us well and that. I got a text from all people. I got a text from Jimmy Carr. Yeah, Jimmy Carr. Look, there's a reason I don't do the type of material Jimmy Carr does. Because I don't want to have to justify the kind of material Jimmy Carr does. One thing I'll say about Jimmy Carr, he's a much nicer person than his material might suggest. And at the time, he was in a lot of trouble over a very ill-advised routine he had done about the Holocaust and the travelling community. And he was in a lot of trouble, remember this? Yeah. And in the midst of all this boycotting and death threats and all this shit that he was going through, he texts me and says, I heard about Paul. I wish there was something I could do. And the urge to text him back and say, well, you can pay your fucking taxes. Anyway, then we get the text that we've been expecting and dreading. It's all over by the shouting. We get a call, all hope is gone. He's got a bleed on the brain. All of his organs are being kept going by machines now. He's basically Darth Vader without the sense of menace. I like that joke, and you did very well with it. Appreciate it. We're getting into the bit of the show now where every joke will have to just stand on its own merits. And none of you will like all of them, okay? Every one of you will have your own favourites. That one there, goes down very well with nerds with a very dark sense of humour. So, if you don't like the joke, don't worry, there will be another one along in a second. Let's see how this one goes. So, myself and my mother go in for the big switch off. Yes, they got a local celebrity for this one. I go in first because I'm top biller. My mother had already been in the day before and sat with him for a bit, and I just went in, and I just sat with him for a bit, and I just had a chat, and you know what? We didn't argue at all. Proof, if it was needed, that he was the problem all along. Right again. Anyway, I got a few things off my chest, and then I said to him, look, dude, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to go. It's time for your final adventure. We're going to turn all this off, because aside from anything else, I need to charge my phone. Jimmy Carr might text again. So my man comes in, we're both head to toe in plastic, because we don't want to give him COVID again. Now look, watching your little brother die is no way to spend an afternoon. It's a miserable thing to do with your day. However, if you absolutely want to have the heart ripped out of your chest and put through a mango right in front of you, watch your mother watch your little brother die. It is a fucking picnic and a half. And yet, as horrible as it sounds, and as traumatic as it was, I still managed to make it worse. I've never been in a situation I couldn't make worse, because I decided to play some music. Yeah, I didn't whip out a ukulele. I'm not a monster. Although that would have, he would have found that funny if I put some cymbals between my knees. No, I played some music on my phone. On my phone. I didn't even bring a Bluetooth speaker, just through my phone. Because I thought, what this intensive care unit needs is to feel like the upper deck of a fucking bus. And I played some music, and I didn't want, he loves music, okay? It was his thing, he was in a band when he was younger. I always thought he was going to be a professional musician. It was a massive part of his life. And I wanted to play the right music to send him on his merry way. And I didn't want to be any of my ego involved. I didn't want to play, remember who we used to this, any of that shit. I wanted to just be for him. So I picked a band I knew he liked that I wasn't even that familiar with. So I picked a band called Sebadoh. Is anybody here familiar with the band Sebadoh?
Yes.
One person out of 400. That fucking tracks, ladies and gentlemen. They were not a massive band. They were not a massive band. They were a side project of the guy from Dinosaur Jr. when Dinosaur Jr. became too much of a runaway juggernaut commercial success. Dude who knows Sebadoh? Do you have a favourite Sebadoh album?
Bake Sale.
Bake Sale, the most commercial they have. You fucking... I wish I had. What's your name, sir?
Stephen.
Stephen. I wish I played Bake Sale. Bake Sale would have been it's a jolly one. No, I picked Sebadoh 3. No rage. I don't know what the ideal soundtrack is to watch the life force ebb out of your little brother's body, but it's not the album Sebadoh 3. Okay, here's a little ditty from the end of Sebadoh 3 called As the World Dies, the Eyes of God Grow Bigger. Yeah, it starts off the band, you know? It'll be alright. We can get through this now. Oh, it's all right again. Maybe you just stay like this for the rest of the song. Gonna give you an appetite. That's my clue. And if you think about it, you'll carry on like this. But it gets worse. Does it get worse than this? Oh yes, it does. You made a big mistake, so don't you fucking wait. The walls, climb the walls. What is this? I didn't hire people to do that. I didn't hire session musicians for convening effect. That's an actual album you can buy. It's commercially available. It's called 703. As enjoyed by people who eventually drink themselves to death. And I think it says something. I think it says something about how bad that album is. That when it finished, bearing in mind what was happening was still happening. My brother was still dying. And it's not like it is in the movies. It's not peaceful. It's not quiet. It's not like it's fucking noisy and messy and there's blood and it's horrible. And it's still going on. And yet when that album finished, I looked at my mother and I said, well, thank fuck, that's over. And the person I feel sorry for is my mother. Because she's a massive Sebadoh fan. That's a ruin for her, man. I should have played Pearl Jam. We love Pearl Jam. We both love Pearl Jam. That was our thing. We both love Pearl Jam. One of my most treasured memories now was in 2018. We went on a road trip together to Amsterdam to see Pearl Jam at the Ziggo Dome. It was awesome. It was a stupid thing to do. We could have gone to see Pearl Jam anywhere in the world. We went to Amsterdam. Dutch people are tall as fuck. We went to Thailand or somewhere. We had an amazing view. Do you ever feel like the universe is just taunting you? Do you ever feel like the universe is going, okay, do you ever get dumped? And suddenly every song on the radio is about getting dumped. Do you ever find that? No, it's the weird thing. As soon as somebody hits you with it, it's not you, it's me. You turn on the radio and you're like, oh, you're right, Jason, there are too many broken hearts. But that's what it's like with Pearl Jam. Because I cannot overstate the extent to which me and my little brother bonded over Pearl Jam. Going to see them together, buying each other records, buying each other merchandise, just listening to them together long into the night, you know, we just love Pearl Jam. And on the day Paul died, the 11th of February 2022, Eddie Vedder, the lead singer of Pearl Jam, released a solo album. It literally came out the day he died. And on that album, is a duet with Elton John, my mother's favourite living artist. The fact that me, my ma, and my little brother never got to listen to Elton John jam out with fucking Eddie Vedder is a cruel twist in a story replete with cruel twists. So here's the absolute kicker. On that album, that my little brother will never get to hear, is a song called Brother of the Cloud. The opening line of which is, I have a brother, and now my brother is gone. Are you fucking kidding me with this shit? And I looked into it, it turned out that Eddie Vedder's brother died 2 years previously in a climbing accident, so he wrote a song about it. And I'm just thinking, yeah, maybe not. What is it with these artists? That they have to take something as horrible. Yeah. answer. Thank you for getting that one. You'd be surprised. That's my personal favourite. It's amazing how I wouldn't know it. Yes, it's a try. So he carries on. He's still going. We put on another album. We put on Elliott Smith's Figure Eight. We put on Euphoria Morning by Chris Cornell. We put on Temple of the Dog by Temple of the Dog. He's still going. I'm texting friends going, any other suggestions? He's going 3 hours. We keep going. I did not know what I thought my little brother's death would be like. I didn't think it'd be boring. I didn't think I'd be sitting there going, how are we to done today, Wordle? Within 3 opening words, liver. I wish that wasn't true. But he keeps going. He keeps hanging on. Liz Truss didn't know when to fuck off. And I'm looking at the stats. They're all there. You know, you can watch it in real time. You know, his oxygen saturation, blood level, the heart rate, the blood pressure. It's all there. And it's all holding. And I'm just willing all these stats to just go down. With my mind and going down. Like a figure around out with the university. Eventually I turned to the nurse and I go, you must have seen this kind of thing before. How long can this go on for? And the nurse, quite matter-of-factly, in the way OJ, white South African can be. Yeah, they've been holding steady for a while, haven't they? I said, no, 3 hours. She goes, yeah. I reckon I'm going to start dropping in about an hour. It'll be about another hour, I reckon. Why don't you just give yourselves a break? And I look at my man and I go, should we just give ourselves a break? You heard her, you heard the nurse. Let's go get a sandwich, get some air, we'll be back. He's not going anywhere. And my mother quite reluctantly went, okay, let's do that. And we leave, and I'm sure you're ahead of me. We're not gone 5 minutes, I got a call from the hospital. This is where you need to come back in. So I come running back up the stairs. I said, I'll see you up there, man. I get in, and all the machines are off. And he's just lying there. And he's the nurse won't even look at me. The doctor is staring at the machine and it's turned off. No one will meet my eye. I'm like, oh, you fucking crazy. My mother comes in about 5 minutes after me and I just go, he's gone. He's gone. And I'll never forget to this day. She just brushed the hair off his forehead and she kissed him and she said, oh, my age, oh. You waited till I was out of the room. All I could think was, motherfucker, Irish goodbye me again. So we go home, we all get in the car. My mother gets in the back with Paul's best mate Mel. My older brother, who's now just known as my brother. No one likes that one, don't feel that. I love that joke. No, whatever. One night, a woman will laugh at that joke, and that's what I'm leaving my wife for. Right? Let's see how you do with this one, which, by the way, my brother laughed at. My older brother gets to the top of the seat. I turn to him and I go, it should have been you. my man laughed at that. And we drive home, and this is the weirdest part. And anyone who's been through this kind of thing will know what I'm talking about here. You look out the window of the car, and everyone's just carrying on like nothing's happened. And you just think, the fucking cheek of these people. You are irrationally angry at people who have nothing to do with it. Because they're just carrying on like nothing's happened. How dare you? How dare you carry on? Okay, have you ever been so hungover, you forget other people aren't hungover? You just don't take other people's feelings into account. You're like, if you ever had one of those nights where the next day, you're just barely hanging on to the contents of your stomach, your eyes are hanging out like dog's balls, your head's pounding like a steel drum, and somebody jogs past. And you just think, how can you do that? And when you go, slow down, you'll be sick. That's what it's like. You don't feel the way I do. Anyway, so we get home, I got to break it to my kids. Now, my kids at this point are 10 and 11. And I will say one thing in Paul's favour. He did not leave a gaping hole in my children's lives. That's the most diplomatic way I can say that he was not the most hands-on uncle that ever lived. Probably because he's right-handed. Maybe he was left-handed. There was barely a 3% chance he'd be around a bit more often. No, it was a bit of bone of contention. Like my younger son Magnus, he was actually Magnus's godfather, and he never remembered his birthday. Never remembered it. Once he phoned the day before. Oh, close but no cigar. But now Magnus has a new godfather. Yeah, obviously we had to get him a new godfather, who we called Godfather Part 2. Some say he's better, some say he's not so good. I don't know. Yeah, so Daniel is the name of the year. Daniel actually didn't just remember Magnus's last birthday, he showed up. He was there on Magnus's last birthday. And we played a game of cricket on my father-in-law's lawn, and they were both going for the wicket at the same time, and Daniel fell over Magnus and broke Magnus's fucking arm. Yeah. We spent the night in Ely on Magnus's 11th birthday. You tell me who's the better godfather. Yeah? The guy who forgets your birthday, or the guy who shows up on your birthday to break your arm? I'm calling that a win for Paul. So anyway, they're good boys, but they'll be more upset when the cat dies. And so they come out of the living room, and Cosmo, my eldest son, Cosmo, that's right, Cosmo, awesome name, no, fuck you, you're a showbiz wanker. And he says, is Uncle Paul gone? I says, yeah, he's gone. He said, hey, you're very sad, Daddy. I am very sad. I'm going to be very sad for a long time, but it's okay. But I stopped short of saying, well, imagine how you'd feel if your little brother died, because I just wouldn't have been able to handle the smile that would have broken it. Well, then I'd have 2 bedrooms, wouldn't I? Sleeping one for Lego. And then there's all the shit that happens after someone dies, where you just think, oh, they would have found that so funny. Because stuff happens when someone dies, right? You get together, there's other things, it triggers stuff, and you just think, oh man, he would have loved this. He would have found this so funny. For instance, there's a guy on YouTube who just logs the deaths of anyone involved in show business. And Paul, he didn't just work on people, behind the scenes, directing live shows. He also worked, in some TV stuff, did some co-production, that kind of carry on. So he made the list, right? So this is some dude, I don't know who he is, but he just logs the deaths of celebrity. If you're a celebrity, hopefully when I die, I'll make this guy's list. This is an example of what happened the week Paul died.
Helen Raphael, she was a Italian radio and television writer and presenter.
It's an awesome voice, I think we can all agree on that much.
Died 10th of February 2022, died of an long illness, she was 78.
Right? So it's quite matter of fact. Some of them more interesting than others. Henry Danton.
Henry Danton, he was a British dancer, teacher, and stage of classical ballet.
Ballet. Let it go.
Died 10th of February 2022, cause of disease now he was
See, you hear the sense of mystery in his voice. Not that this is unknown. He was 102. I don't think we need to bring Quincy in on this one. You all know what happened to Henry Danton. Michelle Shaughnessy fucked him to death. That guy died of being 102. That's what happened there. And what's funny is, this YouTube, there's people in the comments going, what's the cause of the perfectly healthy 102-year-old? This next guy's interesting. Watch. You have now seen how it works, right? He doesn't even say the guy's name. He just goes straight in with what he did for a living. Watch.
He He was a British-born Latvian chef.
I don't know any of that shit, guys. Anyway, here's Paul.
Paul Byrne. He was an Irish-born British comedy director.
Yes, I have a comment. Okay, how many of you, just for a moment, on that second photograph, thought, "Ooh, you look like him when you were young." So yes, two of those photographs were of me, not of Paul. He didn't die on the 12th of February, it was the 11th of February. He wasn't 45, he was 44, and it wasn't lymphoma, it was liver failure. Other than that, somehow. No. Man, you would have found that funny. And then of course we had a funeral, as I say. And as I've established earlier tonight, I regret the things I say and don't say. I obsess on the things I wish I'd said to people. And obviously with Paul, there's things I wish I'd said to him in life and there's things I wish I hadn't said to him. But there's shit I regret not saying at the funeral. My sister got up, she made a lovely speech. She said one of the things she remembered about Paul was that she was thinking of buying a cool car, right? She had the means to do it, she fancied it, rolling around something maybe a bit retro, a bit, just something a bit fun, a bit of personal, a cool car, and she asked him his advice on what she should buy. And his advice was, why would you want to buy a cool car? Cool cars for people who aren't cool but want to look cool. You're already cool. You should just buy an ordinary car, and it'll just become cool because it's your car, and you're really cool. Aww. Not driving in the house. And then I got up in the middle, I just was introducing some music and a montage of photographs, and I just regret to this day not saying, that was a beautiful speech, Trish. But it does make me reflect on how many times Paul told me I should buy a really cool car. Fucking killed! That would have just, you don't understand, there was TV people at that gig. That was an industry dude. Jesus, our manager was there. So then we come to the darkest joke ever. That's not this whole story. So it's not the darkest joke I ever told. This is all supposed to be just context for the darkest joke I ever told in my life. So that came. It was after Paul died, but it was before the funeral. Everyone's still at my house. They're not sure whether they're going to go home and come back or what we're going to do. Everyone's upside down. We're all in tears, right? I made pizzas for everyone, and my elder son, Cosmo, kicked off and complained that his pizza was not a margarita pizza as ordered. It is a margarita pizza. I put the lime and the tequila in myself. Because it is, honestly, I'm trying to, because it's not, it's just a plain pizza. I go, mate, I don't know how to break this deal with plain pizza. Margarita is a fancy word for plain pizza, right? Deal with it. Please proceed. It's not margarita, it's not what I asked for. I went to the bin and I pulled out the box. Did I say I made pizzas? I'm grieving, I'm not going to fucking break out the sourdough starter and fire up the uni. What does that say there? No, that says Tesco's Finest. What does it say here? Alright, still, treat myself. What does it say? It says margarita. I know you read it as margarita. Of course, I showed him a fact that disproved his theory, so his theory just has to get bigger. He goes, that's not the box my pizza came in. You are good at this. You have a future as an internet agitator. Hey, I took it out of that box, I put it in that oven, I put it on that plate. Please just eat it. I'm not eating it because it's not what I asked for. I'm stuffed. Just flounced off like a little bitch. Leaving me and my mother alone in the kitchen. And the darkest joke I ever told in my life was to an audience of one. And after everything we've been through that week, I just looked at my mother and I went, oh. Well, I can't wait to watch him die. You're not entertained! That's a lot darker than the shit I normally do. Let's be honest, that's not the kind of stuff I normally deal in, and I was very happy with that. A lot of moving parts in that joke. Topical as fuck. Off the top of my head, very happy with it. I'd like to tell you she laughed. but sometimes your biggest fans can be your harshest critics. I think the tragedy involved is just a little bit too big, and the time elapsed just a little bit too short. My mother, however, did come to see this show when I did it at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival back in August, and she has now declared that joke structurally sound. A 2-star review that reads like a 3. And I thought that's what the show was about, folks. That's what I thought the show was about when I was writing it. I thought that was the hook I was going to hang it on, the darkest joke I ever told in my life. I thought the show was about examining the concept of humour equaling tragedy plus time, and about how, the difference in time and the difference in tragedy makes the difference in whether something's humour. That's what I thought it was about. That's what I thought. I realised it's not. What the show is really about is, as I said earlier, you might be right, but you might be wrong. That's what the show is about. You might be right, but you might be wrong. And if being right means you're no longer talking to a loved one, then maybe you're still wrong. Because here's the thing, me and Paul did reconcile, okay? After we had our massive row, we did reconcile, and we reconciled through the medium of WhatsApp. How very millennial of us. Which means I get to share it with you. So what happened was, as I say, we'd already apologized to each other by text and all that, we were on good terms, but we didn't really make up until a friend of his, a client, but a friend, was going to be on Mock the Week. They were going to be on Mock the Week, it was going to be their first time on Mock the Week. It was a big deal for them. And he knew that they were worried about him because he was sick, right? So he wanted me to look after him, so he texted me. And I would just say that this person now does prefer to be non-gender specific pronouns, but at the time it was very much going by she, so that's why we did. So I don't want to alter it. So anyway, he goes, morning! He says to me, morning, hope you're well. Can you do me a favour and be extra nice to Sarah Keyworth at Mock today? At Mock. He means Mock the Week. Have some fucking respect. How much of a hurry are you in, man? You don't even realise you're dying at this point. MTW, if you're in that much of a fucking hurry. Do you know what TV people call Have I Got News for You? They call it Have I Got News? I mean, for fuck's sake. We've gotten quite close this year, but instead of working on our jokes with her for her big deal TV appearance, I decided to frighten the shit out of her by nearly dying, and she's been very concerned about me. Fingers crossed, she just puts it out of her head and has fun, but if you can let her know that you know, she knows you know, cheers, I demand you both have a great show. Like this. So I say, she'll be in very good hands. He says, thank you, another couple of kisses, right? So, do the show. Sarah absolutely storms it. That was a great one, so I let him know. Because she had a great one. As good a first show as I've seen. He says, yes, thank you. That genuinely has brightened what has been a little bit of a tough day. Just run down from the crazy fluid restriction. Love you. Another kiss. So it's 11:30 at night. I've had a few drinks. I see my opening, and I go forth. And I say, I love you too, Paul. And I'm sorry that we wind each other up as much as we do. But I know it's because of our similarities more than anything else. And he says, me too. You are an excellent human being. And I say, you're a cunt. We're just talking to each other. I'm so glad I have that. I'm so glad I can share with you. And if we hadn't made up, this show would be a different show, and I'd probably be a different person. So I guess that we have to have a moral. We have to have an uplifting ending to the show. He doesn't go back to life at the end. There's nothing I can do. If we can take anything from the show, we think positive of the fact that look, there's bound to be. There's 300-400 people here tonight. There's probably 20 of you currently aren't talking to somebody because of a loved one, because of a stupid argument you had. They got it. Put it in Lancashire. There's at least 100 of them. Aren't talking probably about land or cricket. Who knows how many of you currently aren't talking to a loved one because of a stupid argument they got out of hand. Trust me, when they're gone, they're gone. I'm not going to start singing The Living Years by Michael McCann's at you. But it is too late once they're gone. And even if they don't die for another 10 years and you spend 5 years not talking to them, you feel fucking stupid. So promise me you'll reach out. And look, if phoning them is too much, if apologizing is just too much to do, here's what you do. You just text them. Just email them and tell them you bought them tickets to see this show later on the tour. And then they will yes. That's a win-win. Look, we're not
so welcome.